For shipwrecked treasure hunters, it's a game of patience and persistence and being in the right spot at the right time. Deep down on the bottom of the Baltic Sea near Sweden, a team of salvage experts may have hit the jackpot. The trouble is, so far, this bounty can't be explained. Peter Lindberg has been in the business for almost 20 years. This vintage champagne hauled from a century-old wreck, one of his sweetest successes. Until, that is, the commercial diver stumbled upon an incredible find.
We had been out for 9 days, and well, we were quite tired, and we were on our way home, but we well, made a final run with the sonar fish, and suddenly this thing turned up, and well, my first reaction was to tell the guys that, hey, we have a UFO here on the bottom.
Sonar readings show it's about 60 meters across, or the size of a jumbo jet, and it's not on its own down there. The Ocean Explorer team also found another smaller disc-shaped object nearby. Both show a rigid tail or drag marks more than 400 meters long. Their size and distinctive shape are generating some peculiar theories. Could this be the Star Wars Millennium Falcon, a plug to an inner world, or a marine version of Stonehenge?
There have been discussions about Russian warships that were around, that they built in the end of the 1800s, but they are smaller, only about 30 meters across, and they weren't in the Baltic as well. Of course, it can be something else from a ship or wreck, but still, it's quite big.
Yeah, you have the disturbances from the waves.
The head of archaeology at Sweden's Maritime Museums says this type of imaging, called a side-scan sonar, doesn't always reflect what's actually on the sea floor. Varying temperature and wave conditions can result in anomalies on the images. But the intriguing dimensions of this picture are capturing his attention.
It's definitely something, at least. I'm not sure that you will see very much when you go down. If it's a more natural geological formation, it might be that it's hard to see. The sediments in the area are very loose. The side-scan sonar tool sometimes goes down a little bit in soft sediments. But I'm excited. It's going to be interesting to see what it is.
Andreas Olsen, who doesn't agree with treasure hunting and selling historical artefacts for profit, says the Baltic offers ideal conditions for preservation, with low salinity and no wood-boring organisms. It's helped protect many of Sweden's prized wrecks, including the 17th century warship Vasa. It was brought to the surface with its hull almost intact more than 50 years ago, and is now housed in its own museum in Stockholm.
Right now, we know about approximately about 20,000 objects, mostly shipwrecks, in the Baltic Sea, a total. But I think we have at least 100,000. There's a lot of areas we haven't really seen anything, and many shipwrecks are also hidden under the seabed. So it's for an archaeologist, I think the Baltic Sea is like a shipwreck laboratory, the best in the world.
One glittering rival is the North Atlantic, where a top salvage company has struck gold, or silver to be exact, twice. Odyssey Marine recently found 2 wartime shipwrecks off the coast of Ireland. On board could be hundreds of tons of silver. The American team, just like the Swedish crew, are waiting for calmer waters beginning in May to see if their discoveries will be all that they imagined. Peter Lindberg is even preparing a submarine for tourists and private investors for a closer look at what really lies beneath. Brooke Bowman, CNN, London.